Back here at the City Place Studios, we are in downtown West Palm Beach, streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm. You got Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo alongside me. You got Damian Perez helping us out, keeping us up over the airwaves. We got a special guest welcoming in. You heard him on SportsCenter basically when you were growing up through the flagship back in the 90s, early 2000s. He's a fixture of NFL Network programming, and he is now a fixture of ESPN Radio. Back on it 12 to 2 on this station, 12 to 3 on the ESPN app. We'd like to welcome in Mr. Rich Eisen joining the program now in Russo and Rizzo. Mr. Eisen, welcome in. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing fine. How are you guys?
Rich, tell us this really quick. That it's been a couple of weeks now since you've gotten back into the ESPN flow of things. When you moved over to NFL Network, when you made that shift in your career, did you ever expect yourself to be back with ESPN, the mothership, at some point in your career?
No. That I kind of gave up that ghost a while ago, and certainly never thought if it was possible it would be in the role of partner. Where I had a show where ESPN would distribute it, and we'd have a partnership, and I'd be in that relationship with ESPN. It's kind of a dream come true where they also reach out you're interested in, and the sky's the limit for everybody. It's pretty cool. It really is great to be in this situation and to have all of this come kind of full circle. My wife feels the same way. I met her in the newsroom in 1997. Our kids are technically ESPN children because of it. It's pretty cool. All of it, soup to nuts. Couldn't be happier.
Rich, what's been the favorite part? I know it's been brief, but what's been the favorite part about being back? If it's just seeing old faces, but what's been your favorite part since coming back to ESPN?
Well, I did the SportsCenter in LA, so I really haven't seen any old faces. I do plan on getting back to Bristol soon enough, but it's just obviously doing SportsCenter again and doing it the manner in which I did it back in the late 90s and early aughts, with the music and the graphics and the old school mentality and again the production staff that was from SportsCenter that I did that show with them back in August after a preseason week game. It was a dream come true. It was great. I felt like I was in a time machine without the hot tub,
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. I'll never forget it. It was great.
And Rich, getting your up and coming, of course, you were started things out as a writer up in the 90s. When you sort of got that job with SportsCenter, late 90s as well, was that something that kind of just fell in your lap? Tell us a little bit about how that sort of kind of came together for you.
No, I obviously, realized early on. Well, not obviously. Early on as a kid, I realized I couldn't hit the curveball or make a jump shot with regularity. I had to talk about it for a living. So, being a sportscaster was a dream. And, going to college in the 80s and growing up technically on SportsCenter in the first decade of its existence was exactly the thing that I wanted to do. And everything I did was kind of geared towards that, with the exception of, as you pointed out, after I graduated from college, I was a newspaper reporter for my hometown newspaper, but really began after a few years just saying, I have a dream of being a sportscaster. I got to follow it. And I went to a small market station in Redding, California, which is about 10 hours north of where I'm calling you from, as the drive is from Los Angeles. It's closer to the Oregon border than anything else. And I went there and I was a sportscaster, and everything that I did in the local market was geared towards SportsCenter. Sent a tape to a headhunter under the category of, it's just first class postage. Just send a tape and a resume. And somehow, some way, ESPN saw it and hired me. And it was like winning the lottery. I was age 26, wound up being on the SportsCenter set, just 2 years removed from that moment where I had an epiphany saying, if I want to be a sportscaster, I got to follow that dream. Got very lucky, very fortunate, put it all together. And 7 years on SportsCenter later, got handed a cardboard box, went to NFL Network. 23 years later, I'm back with ESPN with a show, 12 to 3 Eastern every day. And I'm still with NFL Network, which ESPN might be a year away from purchasing. So it's really amazing what's happening in the media world and how I'm kind of got my head on a swivel in the middle of it.
Rich, fantastic story. Number one. Number two, what was your favorite part about that? What was your favorite part about that whole journey you just told us?
Oh well, I mean, man, I guess my favorite part of it was gaining ownership of my show out of the blue and 2 days before Christmas in 2019 when DirecTV, which birthed my show, called up and said that the channel that I'd been on audience following the Dan Patrick Show for 5 years was shuttering because, they were moving all the programming to a new app called HBO Max, which had no live capabilities, let alone any interest in sports. And that's changed considerably right now. So I gained ownership of my show, didn't know what to do with it. A pandemic was three months away. I had no idea that was coming. And the people that I was working with at DirecTV on the show, some of them also got the same phone call saying that we're done and were willing to use the money that they were getting on their package deal to leave, or being told that they're out. We're willing to stay with the show and work on that. Staying together as a team and building the show one by one, brick by brick, show by show, day by day, and me learning what it takes to be more than just an on-air host, but also a business operator on the fly, and all of us still together as a team now on ESPN Radio Coast to Coast when we had 0 radio affiliates, when we were told on that 2019 day that we were done. And now being on Disney Plus and the ESPN app, and the podcast version is on the Pod Center for ESPN, and we're all together as a team experiencing this success together, hanging in there. That's my favorite part of the story.
Rich Eisen, of course, joining us now on Russo and Rizzo, the host of the Rich Eisen Show, 12 to 3 Eastern Time on ESPN Radio, 12 to 2 on ESPN 1063. Rich, when you made that move to NFL Network back, I believe 2003, you're one of the first, I believe you were the first on-air talent that NFL Network made a move for. Did you understand at the time with those conversations? I mean, it is a risk. You're stepping away from ESPN. Did you realize that NFL Network would be a rocket ship in a sense?
Well, I mean, that was the play. You know what I mean? I mean, again, I had no desire to leave ESPN. They handed me a cardboard box.
Right.
And kind of surprised me with it 9 days before my wedding, to be honest.
Wow. Good timing by ESPN.
And that's where I met. Yeah, man, it was something else.
Wow.
And again, that's part of the reason why I can't believe that I'm back and to kind of cauterize that wound. You know, it leaves a mark when you're told we're done. Your wife's moving from the West Coast to the East Coast. And, I met my wife in the newsroom at ESPN. So I mentioned, so it left a wound that I've been able to, not to get too deep and turn this into like I'm unburdening myself, but it's the truth. For me, to be able to just kind of put that to bed really means a lot. It was emotional for my wife also to see me on SportsCenter. She had a front row seat to all of it. My time with Stewart for 7 years, and but at any rate, at the time it was the play. I wanted to move to Los Angeles. Not a bad idea to also put your eggs in the NFL basket. They also described the show that NFL Total Access to me, that it would be an early primetime East Coast show with a late night conversational feel with celebrity guests to it. It's kind of a no-brainer for me to take the job when the offer officially came in. And but man, we were in 11 million homes to start, and here we are in 22 years later, again building something up that is valuable enough for ESPN and Disney to want to come and make it the centerpiece of a major merger. That means a lot to us, all of us at NFL Network as well. And we look forward to the next version of NFL Network whenever that happens with ESPN. It's going to be exciting.
Rich, I wanted to get your thoughts on, the explosion of the NFL. Obviously, the NFL has always been big, but everybody wants a piece of the action of the NFL now. It is truly the top dog sports league out
Unrivaled.
there. Like I feel like you've had a front row seat to it more than anybody as well. Just Rich, your thoughts on really the explosion we've been seeing with the NFL.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect organism, man. I mean, it's once a week, so the games are huge, and the period in between games is perfect fodder for media to chop it up and either blow things out of proportion or put things in perspective, however you want to view it. And there's also an aspect of the game that mixes brains and brawn. There's an intellectual aspect towards scheming up an offense for defense, and of course, the physical nature of it. You mix it together, and it brings in all different walks of life and interests. Also, my head's not in the sand. The gambling portion of it. There's the hardcore gambling, and then of course the casual fan gambling, whether it's putting a little bit of, $5 here or there on whether somebody gets a certain amount of rushing yards, or clearly the mother lode being fantasy football. You have casual fans, you have diehard fans, you put it all together with also the reality television world becoming as popular as it is. It's the greatest reality television programming where you can't make some of this stuff up, whether it's a game like the Ravens and the Bills in week one, or it's, storylines that you never see coming of players that you don't expect to do well and they become superstars. Put it all together and it's a perfect organism in a world where everybody's looking for potentially a distraction or a way to connect with one another. It's perfect. And I'm so psyched that I get to be such a part of it, whether it's calling games internationally, which I'm doing in a couple weeks, Jets and Broncos and Rams and Jaguars, or the game that I called on YouTube in Brazil, or obviously NFL Network every Sunday, my show every day. It's very football centric for good, for obvious reasons. So there's nothing like it, man. I'm very lucky, and we're all lucky to have people so interested in the sport when we're in the business of talking about it.
Rich Eisen joining us now on ESPN 106.3. Rich, you mentioned it. You're kind of the voice of the international NFL. You always have been, in terms of they send you everywhere to do these games. And I was curious, you spend a considerable amount of time, whether it be London or Germany, Brazil, wherever it might be, of the places that you've been in different cities doing different games. Is there a city to you, since you've probably spent time in these cities, you got to adjust, that, number one, has really adopted the NFL well, more so than the rest, and that stands out amongst the rest?
Oh, yeah, Munich, Germany.
Wow, Munich. I've been to Munich, too. It's a smaller city. I'm surprised by that answer.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great. And just the stadium itself, Allianz Arena, and the game the first one that was there, Brady and the Bucks versus the Seattle Seahawks. Pete Carroll's team was red hot coming in. Brady's team was particularly not. And it was an incredibly competitive game with all sorts of crazy-ass plays, including Leonard Fournette throwing one to Brady who slipped, and Fournette got picked off. I mean, it was wild. But it was also a Super Bowl atmosphere. It really was. And both Brady and Pete Carroll, we all know, played in a Super Bowl against one another, or coached in it, obviously, with Pete. Mentioned that. There really is a bigness to these games. The national anthems are really emotional, and the fans are into it. And they're mostly all local or people from all different walks. I mean, the London games are great in many different ways. There's a lot of Americans who live in London, or people who live in London who love the sport. They love it. Germany was more of it was more predominantly German-speaking people in the stands, but also people who traveled. I met people who were living in the Middle East or flew in from parts of Africa to see the game because Germany is more geographically closer. I'm not calling the game in Spain, which I'm bummed about. The game in Berlin is going to be great, but that Spain game, is going to be particularly awesome for I think for the fan experience. Right now, it's funny going into the season. You're looking at Washington versus Miami in that game in Spain. You're like, that's going to be a doozy. As we're sitting here right now entering week 3, maybe not so much. And the game in Berlin is being hosted by the Colts, who may be actually a significant first-place team by the time that happens. But those games are awesome. They really are great. And if anybody wants to go to one or thinks about going one, if they have the ability to do it financially or time-wise from work, it really is worth it. It really is.
Now, Rich, chances of an international Super Bowl. Are you one of those people which we think we could see one sooner rather than later?
I mean, that's a tough one because, you know, for the game to be played at 6 o'clock Eastern, would have to be kicked off at 11 at night.
You think
know,
they would
in certain
avoid that,
parts,
maybe
if you're
go
playing it
8
in Europe.
and do a 3 o'clock Eastern time kickoff? Would they make that sacrifice, or do they care too much about the time slot?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
And Rich, I'm
I'm
speculating too. Like I see all these games internationally, and it really makes me think. It was a topic of conversation one of my group chats with the boys the other night, and I really didn't have a good answer for it.
Well, I mean, if you're asking me where this is headed, I can't imagine again a London Super Bowl again for it to be 6 o'clock Eastern. It would have to start at I think it would be midnight at that point in time because I think it's a 6-hour difference at that time of year. And, you know, I mean, Fox, Disney, CBS, NBC, whoever's paying for that Super Bowl wants it in prime time, man. They're not going to say, oh, sure, we'll have it at noon or 3 o'clock just because we want to, you know, get this, you know, international money train rolling. Truly, I believe that the end goal here is to create a fourth window of football where most of the international games take place in Europe, where the time difference would be for a 9 a.m. Eastern game, it would just be kickoff would be at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the way to go. I mean, I think a lot of fans really like that fourth window of football starting at 9 a.m. Eastern time. That's the way that we consume football out here on the West Coast. The games start at 10 a.m. It's awesome. It is great. And I think that's the way they want to go. And to be honest with you, the reason why it's also very popular in Germany is there were multiple NFL Europe teams in the country. And so professional football has been the German population has been exposed to NFL football for almost more than an entire generation. So I think that's where this is going. I don't think it's going to like we're going to have a regular team there or even a division of football there. It's just it's very difficult to have to be competitive if you're a European team spending a month on the road in the United States of America, or drafting a player and saying, hey, guess what? Your dream to play in the NFL comes in foreign country X. That's removed from your parents or anybody else that's coming to see you. Might be difficult to get free agents, coaches there. Yep. Really, the way that this is going is to have a full package that the NFL could sell to another new partner for a boatload of money for a fourth window of football, I think.
Yeah, Rich, I agree. I think they're going to take up that whole Sunday slate. I think you'll have an international game a week. But that's Rich Eisen, of course, joining Russo and Rizzo with us. Now, Rich, you're stable your program. Only a couple more things here. Stable your programming has been, you've had such amazing guests throughout the years. And whether it be football, even in the actors game, whether it be people in the film industry, everybody will probably ask you about your favorite interview. But I'm more curious, is there an interview that comes to mind where it's sort of like, welcome to the interview game moment where maybe you wish you had it back in terms of how you approached it? You were surprised how tough of an egg there was. Is there one that comes to mind?
No, not really, to be honest with you. It's just been an evolution. I mean, if I watch, we sometimes because our radio, because the show is simulcast on the radio, which has a longer commercial break than our TV show, we'll show older videos of guests from the first or second year of the show, and I could just see I'm a different interviewer, and it's tough to watch, just in general. It took me a long while to realize
that's the same thing with us. The same thing. Yeah, absolutely. You can't listen back.
Dude, it's the truth, guys. It's the truth. I learned. It took me a while, and again, the same way that I told you that I got ownership of my show out of the blue, like a bolt of lightning, halfway through, how long the show's been on the air. So it's been about 6 years ago now, and we're celebrating anniversary, our 11th anniversary coming up soon. I had to learn how to, run a business and still do what I'm doing and be a boss on the fly. being an interviewer, I learned the same thing. A lot of what I did from Sports Center got translated to what I did at NFL Network, but then being an interviewer, as I was doing on NFL Total Access with players, is one thing, and then to have celebrity guests or different types of people outside of the sports world and interview them. I realized early on the most important thing about interviewing somebody is listening, that the response that they give should engender maybe another question. And it's difficult to ask that question if you're not listening and you just steamroll over that response and just ask what you plan to be the next question because you've over prepared. So, I mean, I guess that's a more detailed answer than what you're saying. There's really not one person like, oh yeah, I remember this person came on and was miserable. I couldn't wait to say goodbye to him. I guess that's my answer to it. It just took a while for me to get that down pat. But I appreciate what you say about our guest list. We worked very hard at it. And our booking team works very hard at it too.
Now, Rich, you've interviewed, basically everybody in every step of life, every walk of the path. Is there anybody on the planet that you would ever get starstruck for? Like an interview, hey, we booked. If one of your producers came up to you and said, we booked so-and-so, is there anyone that you would ever get starstruck for?
Have you had Jordan on?
It might. Michael Jordan has not.
You have not. Okay.
I don't know how great of an interview he'd be.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm assuming he would be, and I can't wait to see what he's going to do for NBC. For their NBA coverage. If I were them, I would have I'd hand him an iPad, just like they did on the Last Dance.
Yeah.
With a soundbite that somebody said in the NBA that week, and have him react to it on the fly.
Wow.
Like that might actually rankle his old school sensibilities. Because you never wanted to be on that iPad that was handed to him during the Last Dance.
George Karl.
That's the last person you didn't want to be. Isaiah
Thomas,
Gary Payton. You did not want to be on that iPad handed to Michael Jordan, and that's the sort of stuff I would do with Michael if he ever, if there was ever an opportunity to produce him or interview him. But no, I mean, if I had to say something, it would be David Letterman. I mean, I just idolize the guy, and I rip him off every day. And I was on his show once. He had me on one time as a guest, and it was during the lockout because Dave was curious about what it would be like. How do you host an NFL draft during a lockout? So that was that one time I was on his program, and that was just a dream come true.
Well, Rich, amazing stuff. I'm surprised by the Letterman answer, but I guess it makes sense. That talk about somebody who's interviewed absolutely everybody. Rich, last thing here before we let you go. Yankees sitting at, a couple 17, 16 games over 500. Are we in process that this is going to be a World Series good team, or what is your sort of tail of the tape? Do they got to get rid of the manager?
I have no idea.
Booney. Yeah, come on, Rich. Booney.
This is what I do every day that I'm able. Come home, decompress from the show. Invariably, there might be a kid to pick up at school or something. But then around 4 o'clock my time, I settle into the MLB app and I watch the Yes Network. And I'm watching Michael Kay and I'm watching the crew, and I am locked in. Like I am, I've been fortunate to do what I do for a living. There's really only 2 teams that emotionally move the needle for me like I'm still 5 years old again. One of them is Michigan football and the other is the Yankees. And they're infuriating to watch. Occasionally, they're occasionally World Series quality. That makes you hope. But it really comes down to, in this day and age, how many innings you're going to get out of your starter. Can you actually put the ball in play? If you strike out too much in playoff baseball, it's impossible. And if you get 5 out of your starter, do you dare to actually leave them in for a third go round through? I don't know who that would. Fried be that person that you trust the third time through the order. Rodon could be that guy.
Oof.
The Yankees have 2 such guys. Obviously, the one guy that you would absolutely trust more than anybody else has been out all year, and Garrett Cole. They got 2 kids in Heel and Schlittler. I don't know if you can trust either one of them. Heel walks too many people. Schlittler last night had a 10-1 lead and couldn't finish 5. And then comes the bullpen. I mean, there are times where, honestly, I'm 56 years old. Devin Williams makes me feel 86. You know, he has had 4 consecutive scoreless outings.
Yeah.
So maybe if you get him right and Bednar right, and the Yankees can actually get 6 out of their starter, they could potentially get enough bullpen help to have the pitching taken care of to win a World Series. And then it comes down to, can Aaron Judge be the judge from the regular season in the playoffs? Because Stanton sure has been able to unlock that in the postseasons he's been with the Yankees. And you know, can they actually put the ball in play and not strike out? You know, last night against the Twins, they built part of their 10-1 lead with 3 sacrifice flies, and I turned to my son, my youngest son, who's my watching buddy. He's a diehard Yankee fan. My older son really is more of a Taylor Swift fan, and thus cares about the Chiefs because of it. My youngest son, I turn to him. I'm like, productive outs, like they exist for the Yankees, you know. So you probably didn't expect this long-winded or detailed of an answer, but that's the way I'm viewing the Yankees right now. Yes, it's possible, but can they actually do all? Can this all be pulled together? You know, against what looks like right now either Houston or Boston in 3 in Yankee Stadium if necessary.
You got to stay away from Houston there.
Seattle's.
You got to stay away from Houston there.
I don't know about that. I'd rather right now face Houston than the Red Sox. Crochet and Giolito scare me. I don't think the Astros have the starting pitching that scares me. And if Alvarez is hurt, I would choose Houston. I'd take him. We don't have to go there.
Yeah.
It's not like Costanza where I'm saying that, you know, no Yankees going to Houston. You know, so it's great. I kind of would take that rather than the Red Sox right now. The Red Sox had the Yankees number all year.
They have.
The other way around was the case for New York and the Astros.
Now, Rich, you brought up Michigan football. What's kind of the
Mike's an Ohio State guy. Let's get this out of the way. So he's going to try to be nice about this. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
Rich, what's the realistic expectation there in Ann Arbor for you this year?
Realistic expectation is to threaten to win the Big Ten.
The ball's on a tee here,
that's
Rich.
A realistic. No, the realistic expectation is to take care of business. I'm concerned about this game against Nebraska.
Rich, hang on. Really? Hold on. No. Was it because of Raiola? Is it Matt Rule? That's a game. You can give the ball to Haynes 25 times and win that game, no?
I disagree with that. Again, this is an 18-year-old kid who's going on the road without his head coach. And Nebraska has it. I'm definitely concerned about this one. Yeah, the other ones I'm not so concerned about, to be honest.
Including Ohio State?
And yeah, I mean, it's been 4 years in a row. Why should I be nervous?
Right, but Rich, everyone seems to forget 15 to 16. You know, partner, I'm 30. I think before the last 4 years, it was like 2 times that I've seen Michigan beat Ohio State. But I understand the point. I actually think Nebraska, Rich, honest to God, I think Nebraska will be an easy win. I really don't see another big-time matchup until the Buckeyes on that Michigan schedule. I think Oregon at some point this year as well for Michigan, but it's a pretty decent Big Ten schedule for you guys up until that last game against Ohio State, no?
Well, I mean, there's one against USC here in LA that unfortunately I'm not going to be here for because I'll be in London, which kind of kills me.
But we're not buying USC. Rich, we're not buying USC, though, right? I mean,
listen, man, look at you. Look at you on your high.
It's the Ohio State goggles. I'm telling you, it is the Ohio State goggles.
Listen, they haven't been relevant in years.
Ryan Day beats everybody but Michigan. You know,
that is fair. That is fair.
As a matter of fact, all you got to do is look at the New York Jets for the last quarterback wide receiver combination that beat Michigan. That's 2019. So it's been a while. I understand. You know, back in the day when you were much younger, but you know, four Novembers in a row, whether it's a first round draft choice in J.J. McCarthy or it's a backup walk-on quarterback whose name many Michigan fans don't even remember that went into the horseshoe last year and beat you.
Davis Warren.
But hey, at least it was enough fuel for the fire for you guys to get your stuff together in time to be clearly the best team in college football's playoffs last year. At least we were there to help you guys light the fire by beating you, which is, by the way, what every single Ohio State player has said since then.
Yeah.
while also complaining about Connor Stallions in ways
Yeah,
that
we got to move on.
kind of
Yeah.
excuses losing to Michigan.
Yeah.
You know, so all of that stuff, it's great. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's in my estimation the greatest rivalry in sports.
Yep.
Love being a part of it. So yeah, that's my Michigan response to you.
Well, Rich,
My man,
we
Rich.
appreciate
Yeah, I
it. We
appreciate
kept
it,
you a little
brother.
long here,
Yeah.
but we appreciate you giving us the whole rundown. Appreciate the
All
time.
good.
Yeah.
No,
Love the
listen,
show.
Yep.
Thanks, man. I appreciate being part of the family. Thanks again.
You got it. That's Rich Eisen, of course, the host of the Rich Eisen Show, which you could hear 12 to 2 on these very airwaves, 12 to 3 on the ESPN app and Disney Plus. Appreciate the time as we got to roll on here. That's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the NHL